Hello and welcome to another episode of today's GK. I am Pooja Devedi, and in this segment we bring to you objective questions on a daily basis to help you crack prelims. So let's begin with the practice question of the last segment. With reference to the census, consider the following statements. Socio-economic caste census and decadal census were both started by Lord Ripon in India. Decadal census falls under the category of Census Act of 1948. So we have to select the correct statement. First is incorrect because decadal census, although was started by Lord Ripon in India, the socio-economic caste census started happening in 1931. So first is incorrect, second is correct. The correct answer is option B, 2 only. The origin of the decadal census in India goes back to the colonial exercise of 1881 by Lord Ripon, and the socio-economic caste census was conducted for the first time in 1931. Census falls under the Census Act of 1948. It provides a portrait of the Indian population. Census has evolved and been used by the government, policymakers, academics and others to capture the Indian population, access resources, map social change, delimitation exercise. On the other hand, SECC is meant to canvass every Indian family, both in rural and urban India, and ask about their economic status and specific caste names. Moving on. Consider the following statements. He was a jurist and an economist. He established the Bahishkrit Hitakarni Sabha to promote education and socio-economic improvements among the Dalits. He started magazines like Muk Nayak, Equality Janta and Bahishkrit Bharat. So we have to select the correct icon from amongst the given ones. The correct answer is option B, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. The President and the Prime Minister of India paid floral tribute to Dr. B.R. Ambedkar on his 65th death anniversary, which is observed as Mahaparinirvana Divas. B.R. Ambedkar's role as a social reformer, chairman of the draft committee of the Indian Constitution and the first law minister of the country is well known. He was a jurist and an economist. He was a brilliant student and had doctoral degrees in economics from Columbia University and London School of Economics. He promoted the education of Dalits and made representations to government in various capacities in this regard. He established the Bahishkrit Hitakarni Sabha to promote education and socio-economic improvements among the Dalits. Also, he started magazines like Muk Nayak, Equality Janta and Bahishkrit Bharat. Let's move forward. Consider the following statements. The Indian Patent Act 1970 allows evergreening of patents and compulsory licensing is not permitted under the WTO TRIPS agreement, so we have to select the correct statement. Both of them are not correct. The correct answer is option D. Let's know why. A patent on a potato variety cultivated specifically for PepsiCo's Inc.'s popular Lay's potato chips was recently cancelled. Evergreening of patent, what is that? It is a corporate, legal, business and technological strategy for extending, elongating the terms of granted patents in a jurisdiction that is about to expire in order to retain royalties from them by taking out new patents. Section 3D of the Indian Patents Act of 1970, which was amended in 2005, does not allow patents to be granted to inventions involving new forms of a known substance unless it differs significantly in properties with regard to efficacy. This means that the Indian Patent Act does not allow evergreening of patents. Compulsory licensing is the grant of permission by the government to entities to use, manufacture, import or sell a patented invention without the patent owner's consent. Patents Act in India deals with CL. It is permitted under WTO's TRIPS agreement provided conditions such as national emergencies, other circumstances of extreme urgency and anti-competitive practices are fulfilled. Consider the following statements. It is one of the three financial parliamentary committees. It was established by Montfort Reforms in 1921. It comprises 22 members of the parliament. So we have to select from amongst the given option the most appropriate one. The correct answer is option A, Public Accounts Committee. Recently, the centenary celebrations of Public Accounts Committee of the Parliament was inaugurated in the Central Hall of Parliament House. The PAC is one of the three financial parliamentary committees. The other two are the Estimates Committee and the Committee on Public Undertaking. Parliamentary committees draw their authority from Article 105 on privileges of Parliament members and Article 118 on Parliament's authority to make rules for regulating its procedures and conduct of business. The Public Accounts Committee was introduced in 1921 after its first mention in the Government of India Act 1919, also called Montfort Reforms. It presently comprises 22 members, 15 members elected by the Lok Sabha Speaker and 7 members elected by the Rajya Sabha Chairman with a term of 1 year only. It was framed with the purpose of ascertaining whether money granted to the government by the Parliament has been spent by the former within the scope of demand or not. The PAC restricts any minister from being elected as a member of it. Moving on, consider the following statements. The President appoints the judges of the High Court in consultation with the Chief Justice of India and the Chief Minister of the state. The High Court judges are recommended by a collegium comprising of the CJI and 2 senior-most judges. We have to select the correct statement. First is incorrect because the President appoints the judges of the High Court in consultation with the Chief Justice of India and the Governor of the state. Chief Minister is not involved. First is incorrect, second is correct. The correct answer is option B. Article 217 of the Constitution states that the judge of a High Court shall be appointed by the President in consultation with the Chief Justice of India, the Governor of the state, and in the case of appointment of a judge other than the Chief Justice, the Chief Justice of High Court is consulted. The High Court judges retired at the age of 62 years. High Court judges are recommended by a collegium comprising the CJI and 2 senior-most judges. The proposal, however, is initiated by the CJ of the High Court concerned, and that is in consultation with the 2 senior-most colleagues. The recommendation is then sent to the Chief Minister, who advises the Governor to send the proposal to the Union Law Minister. The Chief Justice of India would, in consultation with the 2 senior-most judges of the Supreme Court, form his opinion in regard to the person to be recommended for the appointment of the High Court. Let's move forward. Consider the following statements. National Energy Conservation Awards are organized by the Ministry of Environment, and it gives national recognition through awards to industries, establishments that have taken special efforts to reduce energy consumption while maintaining their production. So we have to select the correct statement. Both these statements, first is incorrect because it should be Ministry of Power, not Ministry of Environment. Second is correct. The correct answer was option B. Recently, the Ministry of Power, in association with the Bureau of Energy Efficiency, announced that the first National Energy Conservation Award and first National Energy Efficiency Innovation Awards. The purpose of the awards is to give national recognition through awards to industries and establishments that have taken special efforts to reduce energy consumption while maintaining their production. The awards were given away for the first time on 14th December 1991, which was declared as the National Energy Conservation Day. It recognizes the energy efficiency achievements in 56 subsectors across industry establishments and institutions. Moving on, consider the following statements with respect to narcotic drugs and psychotropic substances bill. The bill will replace an ordinance of the same name promulgated on September 30. It is being done to correct a drafting error. We have to select the correct statement. Both of them are correct. The correct answer is option C. Lok Sabha is scheduled to take up the Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Bill 2021 today, and it seeks to decriminalize possession of a limited quantity of drugs for personal use while regulating certain operations such as manufacturing, transport and consumption of narcotic drugs and psychotropic substances. The bill will replace an ordinance which was issued on 30th September this year. It is being done to correct a drafting error, according to PRS Legislative Research. Moving on to the next question. EcoVerin is a joint military exercise between India and which of the following countries? The correct answer to this question is option B, Maldives. A contingent of Indian Army has left for Maldives to participate in the 11th edition of the joint military exercise EcoVerin with Maldives. It is scheduled to take place from December 6 to 19 at Kardhu Island. The aim of the exercise is to enhance synergy and interoperability between armed forces of both the nations in terms of understanding transnational terrorism, both on land and at sea, conducting counter-terrorism and counter-insurgency operations and sharing best military practices and experiences. Moving on to the next question, consider the following statements with respect to Naga tribes. Nagas belong to the Indo-Tibetan family. The Nagas are found in India only. So we have to select the statement which is or are not correct. Both are incorrect because the Nagas belong to Indo-Mongoloid family, and Nagas are not only found in India but also Myanmar. So the correct answer is option C. The Nagaland government on December 6 announced an ex gratia of ₹5 lakh each for the families of the 13 people killed in firing by security forces in Mon district, where Chief Minister Neiphiu Rio will make a visit on December 6. Nagas are a hill people who are estimated to number about 2.5 million, 1.8 million in Nagaland, 0.6 million in Manipur and 0.1 million in Arunachal states, and living in the remote and mountainous country between its Indian state of Assam and Myanmar. There are also Naga groups in Myanmar. Okay, so the Nagas are not a single tribe. They are a group of ethnic community that comprises several tribes who live in the state of Nagaland. Moving on, Nagas belong to the Indo-Mongoloid family. There are 19 major Naga tribes, and the names are Aos, Sangamis, Changs, Chakesang, Kabuis, Charis, Kainmangas, Konyaks, Kukis, Lothas, Maos, Mikirs, Forms, Ringmas, Sangtams, Stema, Tangkhuls, Yamchungar, and Ziliang. Moving on. Consider the following statements with respect to the Indian Ocean Conference. It is initiated by the Indian Foundation along with its partners from Singapore, Sri Lanka, and Bangladesh. The 5th Indian Ocean Conference was held in Abu Dhabi. The correct answer we have to choose. Both are correct. The correct answer is option C. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar, while addressing the 5th Indian Ocean Conference 2021, emphasized a number of significant geopolitical issues, including the emergence of China and caution in the US power projection. Initiated by Indian Foundation along with its partners from Singapore, Sri Lanka, and Bangladesh, it is an annual effort to bring together heads of states and governments, ministers, thought leaders, scholars, diplomats, bureaucrats, and practitioners from across the region. It was held in Abu Dhabi, the fifth edition. The theme of this year's conference revolves around 3 topics: ecology, economy, and epidemic. Moving on, consider the following statements with respect to INS Sandhayak. The ships are fully designed by the design team of GRSE to meet the requirements of the Indian Navy. These ships are capable of full-scale coastal and deep-water hydrographic survey of ports and harbour approaches. As we have to select the correct statement, both of them are correct. The correct answer is option C. Upholding the maritime traditions, the ship indigenously built was named Sandhayak and launched by Srimati Pushpa Bhatt, wife of Shri Ajay Bhatt, Honorable Raksha Rajya Mantri, who graced the occasion as the chief guest. These survey ships are capable of full-scale coastal and deep-water hydrographic survey of ports and harbours, approaches, and determination of navigation changes and routes. In addition, these ships are also capable of undertaking surveys of maritime limits and collection of oceanographic and geographical data for defense applications. It will help in boosting the maritime capabilities of the country. These ships are propelled by 2 marine diesel engines combined with fixed-pitch propellers and fitted with bow and stern thrusters for maneuvering at low speeds during surveys. These ships are fully designed by the design team of GRSE to meet the requirements of the Indian Navy. It is being built and outfitted utilizing the concept of integrated construction and in compliance with applicable provisions and regulations of the Classification Society. Moving on to the practice question. With significance or reference to sedition law, consider the following statements. The law was originally drafted in 1837 by Thomas Macaulay. The sedition is a non-bailable offence under section 124A of the Indian Penal Code. We have to select the correct statement. So I hope you'll answer this question correctly. That's it for today. Tomorrow we shall meet again with another segment. Until then, stay updated and thank you so much for watching.